I have heard so much of Jesus. He is the man